Hi everyone, welcome to the Whiteleyverse with me, Connor Whiteley, for another daily story with a chapter from one of my novellas. Before I start today's chapter, please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you want to buy this book and any of my other fiction, then they're all available from all major ebook retailers. You can order the paperback and hardback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore and local library if you requested. Also, if you want the AI generated audiobook, then you can get it from selected audiobook platforms and library systems like Kobo, Spotify, Barnes & Noble, Google Play, Baker & Taylor, Biblioteca and Overdrive. Now, here's today's chapter. I hope you enjoyed as much as I did writing it.
Chapter 2. The 19th of May 2023. Burton on the Water, Cotswolds, England. Max Dillion lay down on his perfectly soft white single bed as he waited for his best friend in the entire world, Elliot, to finally finish talking to his sister Quinn, the barwoman, and come up and tell him what was urgent. He knew that Elliot and his boyfriend Philip had got engaged because they were way too friendly and tactile for a small village like Burton at the pub last night. But Max was so looking forward to actually hearing the news from Elliot directly. Max looked at the wide-open wooden door, and still Elliot wasn't coming up the well-worn wooden stairs that he was fairly sure his parents, grandparents and even their grandparents had changed since the pub was founded over 100 years ago, maybe even 200. The dirty white walls of the small bedroom weren't exactly much, but Max really liked them. The entire bedroom was ancient, small and very intimate, so whenever he was lucky enough to find a man who was also gay in somewhere as small as Burton, he could bring him back up here for a great night. And as much as Max would have loved to go into the city or a town or just somewhere larger with more people and opportunities, he loved Burton. It was beautiful, perfect, and his family was here, which with his mother having cancer was where he needed to be. He couldn't imagine living or being anywhere else. The hissing, whooshing and pumping of the pub's coffee machine for the tourists, and the draft beer pumps were echoing up the stairs, and Max smiled as Elliot finally started coming up the old stairs. Max sat up on his soft bed and just grinned as Elliot came through the wooden door in his blue denim shorts, grey t-shirt and white trainers that highlighted his hot body perfectly. Philip was definitely a lucky man. Max got up and hugged him like they always did. Elliot was a great hugger, and Max couldn't lie, there were some months when hugging his best friend was the only contact he actually had with another man. He really needed to meet up with other men. Maybe he needed to download one of the dating apps or something, but something had to be done. "I have some news for you," Elliot said nervously. Max forced himself not to react, he already knew it, but still. "Me and Philip are engaged." "Brilliant," Max shouted as he jumped on Elliot and hugged and gave him a small kiss on the cheek. "That's amazing. I couldn't be happier for you. Philip's a lucky man." "Thanks, mate, and I have something else," Elliot said, knowing Max had already had a thing for him. "My sister and her friends are coming for a party tomorrow, but they're coming later today." Max nodded. He loved a good party, even with a family as crazy as Elliot's. "And I was wondering if you could help me get the house ready for them coming. Philip's at work in Oxford, so he can't help." "Sure, I'd love to," Max said. "Brilliant, and there are 3 guys coming too." Max watched as Elliot quickly dashed down the stairs, and he took that as Max should come round whenever he was free, which he was all day. He wasn't working downstairs for hours yet, and he was only working tomorrow morning. He went downstairs and leant against the perfectly clean wooden bar where his tall, wonderful sister was pulling pints for the regulars, despite it being only 11 a.m. All the 10 regulars were already sitting on their wooden round tables, like they always did without fail. Max knew each of them by name even from behind because the regulars always wore the same types of clothes. Like Mr. and Mrs. Jones with their 60s styles jumpers even in the stupid heat like today, or Mrs. Appleton with her minty green dress that went out of fashion last century, and the very cute Peter Ross, who always came in with his mates and parents Friday morning after staying 2 nights with them before he went back to university in Oxford. Max loved it here, and this was his home, and he just loved the community. "When are you going to get married?" Quinn asked. Max laughed. "When I can find a man to love, and I'm only 22. Quinn finished pulling her pint, and passed it to Mrs. Oakes in her ugly grey dress and came over to him. "You are 22 and you can find a great guy in a city or town or just somewhere that isn't here," Quinn said. "You know I love you, and I just know you don't have a future here." Max shook his head. "I have you guys a job here, and I go do university online so I can still look after Mum." Quinn kissed him on the head. "I'm 26, and I'm planning to leave as soon as possible. Just don't have any regrets." Max wanted to say something to her, but then she went over to serve as a bunch of tourists that probably didn't know the difference between an IPA and Foster's. Max just looked forward to that engagement party tomorrow. But he couldn't help but feel like Elliot was trying to set him up with someone, and he really didn't like the idea of that. He knew that hot, sexy men didn't just come to the Cotswolds of all places looking for relationships. People only came here because they wanted to see the natural beauty, go hiking or feed the ducks if they came to Burton. They don't come here for relationships, love or anything like that. But Max just didn't realize he was about to be proven seriously wrong.
Welcome back everyone, it's me again, Connor Whiteley. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's story, because I flat out love writing, creating stories and sharing them with you. If you really enjoyed today's story, then please remember to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new content, and the engagement really helps the Whiteleyverse with the YouTube algorithms. And if you want to buy this short story or any of my other fiction, then they're available from all major ebook retailers, and you can get them from your local library if you requested, and you can order the paperback copies from Amazon, your local bookstore or local library if you request it. Lastly, if you want to support the channel on a one-off basis, then you can now buy me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Connor Whiteley. Also, if you know anyone who would enjoy today's story, then please share it with them. I'm always really grateful when you wonderful people help us spread the word about the channel. So, thanks for watching the Whiteleyverse, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great day, everyone.